So here's my LMS for my science section that I'll be completing in the spring. So this is the welcome section, just kind of the main menu area actually. And as you can see, we have pretty much everything here that students will need. There's a couple of discussion boards listed. Course information is just a folder that has different things that students could need along with their rubrics. You can always go back to that beginning page and everything is there. So I have a pretest that I've created on here, but this is going to kind of be a trial base on whether we can use this to test students with first grade on this part of the LMS. It doesn't read it to students. So with first grade literacy skills just beginning and students being beginning readers, I don't want their grades to be affected by them not being able to read the content of the quiz. So I'll give it, see how it goes, but we may have to change that to kind of a paper pencil deal in class since this will be a blended learning class. Now, when you go down to the meat section of content, I've listed every week that we will need in a folder, and I've kind of color coded it so that way I can say, go click on the green folder and you can watch these videos. So the first three folders have the main things that students will be learning, the first three objectives. And then after that, the next 3 weeks, students will show their mastery of those skills and we'll start building their presentation using those skills. And then after that, the last 2 weeks, we will go into the presentations and kind of finalizing everything so that they can finish their projects. So one of these first 3 weeks, I'll show you, have different links for students. Now we will be making artifacts in class. So once we make like an anchor chart of basic needs, then I will take a picture and upload it so that it will be on here for students to access when needed. But since it's a blending learning environment, then students will be able to see it up in the classroom also. You'll see Flipgrid throughout each week. That's just so that students can kind of have a discussion post, but without typing it. So students will be able to tell me the plant needs instead of trying to type it out. So it's just a little bit easier for our 6 and 7-year-olds to do than trying to post everything on a discussion board. This is actually a read aloud that we'll read in class, but it's there for students to access if needed. And then the last one is a plant growing game that's really cool for students to try to see if they can keep a plant alive on like a simulated game. So each one kind of has something like that in the first 3 weeks, and week 2 actually has something where they'll start planting their own plants and keeping up with it. And they have a little plant log in there also, but we will have a paper copy that we keep in the classroom that students will use. Down here where they start showing mastery, when you go into it, it has a link to Adobe Spark each week because that's what students will be using. It has their plant log, of course, that I want them to use each week. Again, they'll have hard copies of that. Their Flipgrid plant update and the Adobe Spark rubric. And I'll show you that. Basically, we want students to use their own pictures, use correct science terms, give me 3 needs and 3 plants because that's mainly what the standard shows that they need to know. This is there. Again, it'll be in the classroom for students to access if needed. But everything's on here. Down here, students will create a podcast. We will use the tools in the classroom for that on the iPads, and then I'll help them upload it. And then post-test again and course evaluation are on the computer. But if students are struggling with that, we will have a paper copy for them if needed. So there you go. Lots of different components. Hopefully the kiddos will love it. And if you have any questions, please let me know.